Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and take a look at the Galaxy S22 and compare it against the newly released Google Pixel 7 and see which specific phone is the better one for you. Now, I will leave both these phones linked down in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely tell there are some differences between both, but there also are a lot of similarities. With the Samsung Galaxy S22, this phone came out a little bit earlier this year, and honestly, it's a pretty good looking phone. It's a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display on the front. It is a 1080p panel, but it does have a 120Hz screen, which is actually really nice. Now, with a lot of Samsung phones, the second they come out, they end up depreciating in the used market in terms of prices. So you can actually buy these things for, I think, less. I think I saw on Amazon for like $399 or $400 something dollars. I would highly recommend buying that phone. It's a really good price phone. And I don't know if I said this earlier, but you can buy these phones in the links in the description. You can help support the channel at the same time. I think I already said that. But definitely you're getting a fingerprint sensor in the display, 120Hz screen, still a very good looking phone, kind of flat sides too. So it's still a very premium phone. Now with the Google Pixel 7, you're getting a bigger 6.3-inch AMOLED display, so it's a bigger panel, still getting the same type of styling for the most part, still like a hole punch display in the center and everything, but a big thing to keep in mind is that this is a 90Hz panel. So it's a 90Hz panel, which is it's not a big deal, but you can kind of tell, but I will still say having 120Hz and 90Hz is much better than having 60Hz like we have on the iPhone 14. Another big thing to keep in mind, this phone is $599 brand new, which is cheaper than what the Galaxy S22 is technically right now brand new in the brand new market, but the Galaxy S22 is cheaper in the used market. So it's kind of a flip-flopping thing there, but definitely I would, the S22 may be a better deal in the used market. Now, in terms of thinness and thickness, I don't really think it's a crazy big deal here either. They're kind of like the same thing. I don't think you'd be picking up one or the other because of the thinness, but I think the Pixel 7 might be a little bit of a thinner phone than the Galaxy S22. However, you can see with the camera bump, it does kind of protrude a little bit more on the Pixel 7 than on the Galaxy S22. That might be something you want to keep in mind. Now, they both have SIM card trace too, which is really nice, which seems like a exotic feature nowadays. Now on the back, this is another kind of big deal. We're getting a dual camera setup on the Pixel 7, whereas on the Galaxy S22, we're getting a triple camera setup. And Samsung with their cameras have done an excellent job, and I am a humongous fan of these types of cameras on Samsung phones. Now, they both have glass backs, which is really nice, but the Galaxy S22 has a frosted glass back, which feels very good in the hand. It does feel more like a flagship on the Galaxy S22 than on the Pixel 7. So I will probably say the Galaxy S22 feels more like a premium phone, but I like the design of the Pixel 7. I like how this top has this kind of like little circular design here, and it gives it a more unique design on the Pixel 7 than on something like the Galaxy S22. Now they both support wireless charging, they both support reverse wireless charging, which is really nice, and another big thing I'll probably give for the Galaxy S22, they both have USB Type-C ports on the bottom, but with the Galaxy S22, we do have Samsung DeX, which is a really cool feature. It's basically like, a desktop experience. You kind of have the same thing on, Androids too, but I think with Samsung DeX, it's a little bit more fleshed out. So that's a really big feature on the Galaxy S22 as well. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of software and longevity, I will say Samsung has been making a lot of improvements with their overall software. I think, it's been getting better here and there, but a big thing with Samsung is that they've been improving their software longevity. And I think at one point it was actually a better software experience in terms of longevity on the Galaxy S22 than the Pixel 7. So I will say Samsung has really been taking it up a notch, and I'm hoping they will improve it again, maybe sooner than later. But I will say with stock Android, I've always been a fan of stock Android more than One UI. So that might be a little bit of a big thing to keep in mind as well. If you're wanting a longer lasting phone and or a phone that has more of a community in the development side, the Google Pixel 7 might be the better option for you. But I still think something like the Galaxy S22, they've been making lots of improvements, and I'm really happy with the way Samsung has pretty much been going for the last year and a half probably. So that kind of covers it up there. Now let's go into a speed comparison between both these phones. The Pixel 7 has that Google Tensor G2 chipset inside of it with 8GB of RAM, where the Galaxy S22 has that original Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside of it with 8GB of RAM inside of it as well. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are clear in the background. Galaxy S22 is here, Pixel 7 is here. Let's get into it. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Galaxy S22 faster. Camera 3, 2, 1. I don't really know which one's the faster one here, but let's go and take a photo. Both are doing their night mode thing. Was a faster experience overall on the Galaxy S22. Then on the Pixel 7, opening up that photo, I kind of clicked it earlier on the Galaxy S22, so let that one slide. Let's go into the Play Stores. Now, I am not connected to the Wi-Fi here on the Pixel 7, so we probably have to give that a little bit of a leeway on the Galaxy S22 and the Pixel 7 here. Hopping out of this one, let's go and load up some of these third-party applications. Let's go and start off with Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now, I've played tons of games on my Galaxy S22, and I've done a little bit of gaming on the Pixel 7, and I've seen there's a lot of similarities. There's not really too many differences, as you can even tell with this one. There's going to be slight little things here and there, but a lot of people did complain about the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset, but I have found that my, this specific device, the Pixel 7, wasn't even that much faster, 321, than my Pixel 6 on that app opening speed. I misspoke there. So that was something that kind of stood out to me, but we are kind of seeing that it is overall faster a little bit on the Pixel 7, 3, 2, 1. So that might be something to keep in mind, but I will probably tell you, you're not going to really notice too many differences if you're not comparing them side by side. Snapchat 3, 2, 1. I might be logged, no, I saw it wasn't logged in there. Hopping out of this one, we can try Instagram 3, we'll skip that one. Thank you, 3, 2, 1. And both are actually doing pretty good. They're like very, very close. Maybe the Pixel 7 was faster sometimes, but it's still very close. Twitter 3, 2, 1. And I was logged in here, so we'll go and let that one breathe. Let's go and get into, we can try Genshin Impact 3, 2, 1. So this is a very, very large game. There's a lot of moving pieces with this game, but I will say getting into the game is probably a bigger difference than actual gameplay. I've done a ton of gaming, like I said before, on both these phones, and I noticed that the gameplay itself is very, very similar most of the time, especially with these newer type of phones. I think they were very close. So this one ran into a network error, this one gave me this specific error, but they kind of logged into it roughly around the same time. Like there really wasn't as big of a difference as I originally thought. And I will tell you, from the few applications that I just tested here, Netflix 321, there's way more similarity than differences. I wouldn't really go from the Pixel 7 to the Galaxy S22 or vice versa, just based off the performance. But I think with the future of both them, I think the Pixel 7 probably has a better future, just because Google has been improving their chipsets a lot better. And now that we have the 8 Gen plus 1 chipset, the Galaxy S22 may seem a little bit more dated when it comes down to it. So in terms of that covers it up there. Now in the camera department, like I mentioned before, both of them have different types of setups. The Pixel 7 has a dual camera setup, a wide and an ultra-wide camera. The Galaxy S22 has a wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lens. Both can do 4K at 60 on the front and the back, but the Galaxy S22 can do 8K on the back, which is actually really, really impressive. Now, I don't want to hate on the Pixel 7 too much. I hate when this thing comes up, but I will tell you, in my opinion, the Galaxy S22 camera is probably one of the better ones this year, the whole entire S22 lineup. Now, one thing to keep in mind, in my opinion, is that they do have overall better features, I would say, on something like the Google Pixel, I will say they have overall better features on something like the Galaxy S22 than on the Pixel 7. There are so many features built into this camera, it's not even funny, and that's something Samsung does a great job at. They just give us so many features, and that might be something you might want to keep in mind. You're also getting more resolutions, and it is a really good performing phone, I would say, on the Galaxy S22. Now on the Pixel 7, I think this camera is very, very good for its price tag, especially in the brand new market. I will say though, I just don't think it's as good as something like the Galaxy S22. Now, with this type of phone, the quality might be better, but both of these kind of have the same kind of shortcomings. For one, in certain social media applications, they don't really do a great job. So that is something that might be somewhat of a disadvantage. But I will say, since this type of camera and since the G2 chipset and the Android, they're all kind of built in the same house, I think Google probably will be able to optimize these cameras a lot more than what Samsung is able to do. And I've seen this with the Pixel 6, I've seen this with the 6 Pro, I've seen this with the Pixel 4a as well. That camera wasn't even that great in terms of hardware, but the software that Google is able to put behind that camera is what actually really improves it. So I will tell you, this camera has a long ways to go to catch up to Samsung in a feature standpoint, but I'll say the quality is definitely there for sure. So I will be doing a full battery comparison at some point very, very soon, but from the battery tests I've done with the Pixel 6 and the Galaxy S22, the Pixel 6 definitely outlasted the Galaxy S22, so I could probably say the same thing here. So to sum up this whole entire comparison, I think the Pixel 6 is a great phone, and I think it has a ton of capability within it. Did I say Pixel 6? I mean Pixel 7. This is a great phone, and I think the future of it looks very, very good. But I will say the Galaxy S22, if you're able to buy this thing for cheaper than the Pixel 7, I would probably recommend going this route. I mean, this one has a ton of features built in. The only downside is maybe the battery life isn't as great as this phone compared to the Pixel 7, and maybe the software experience you may not like, but you are getting better cameras here, you're getting better features overall, and you're getting more of a flagship phone, I would say, from the Galaxy S22 than the Pixel 7. But if you're comparing a brand new priced Galaxy S22 that's like $799 or $899 or whatever it is, then maybe the Pixel 7, I would say 100% the Pixel 7 is the better one to go at that point. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.